Welcome back to the Rugby Connection podcast. I'm back, Murray's here, and this time we are joined by a very special guest, Sharks fullback and fly half, Boeta Chamberlain. Boeta, how's it going?
Yeah, all good, thanks on your side.
Yeah, not too bad. And Murray, you've got a bit of a sore throat. You're a bit you're recovering still, obviously. Edinburgh Connacht. Good win for your boys, but we'll get on to that.
Yes.
All the URC stuff, but the Premiership's looking quite exciting at the moment, isn't it?
Getting very tasty, yes. You can
Very
already.
tasty.
Jeez, man.
I will ask, Butter, do you pay attention? Obviously, now that you're in season yourself, do you boys get any time to watch anything? Like, do you ever watch a bit of the Premiership? You know, tune into a bit of the top 14 if you get the chance.
Especially if we're at home, then I like to watch that. But traveling makes it quite difficult because we play the Saturday or Friday, leave the next morning to the next destination. So signal is always the issue. But I try to catch up with some highlights every now and then.
Well, listen, I've pretty much viewed most of the Premiership this season from highlights because, I don't know, from the World Cup, I sort of just took a bit of a down on rugby, only watching the South African games for the franchise games. But I will say I might have to tune into the Premiership now a bit more often because, my God, it's getting pretty tasty. And we'll talk about first, I know, Murray, you want to talk about them because of a certain player, but Bath, we were talking about them last season, especially that tail end. We were thinking, Christ, Bath are starting to get ahead of steam at the wrong time in the season last year, but now they're starting this season with that same momentum. 45-27 over Gloucester. And I think a lot of people are talking about that one man.
Yes. The Maverick. He's in his pantomime villain role now. He is. If you didn't see it, he was going to take a kick at goal. To be fair, the way it was going, it didn't look like it was going in. So the Gloucester fans were like, way, he's missed, and it curled around beautifully. Finn being Finn, just right to the King's Own faithful. I love it. But we did speak about it during the World Cup because we never got it. But we've got it now. Ollie Lawrence is back for Bath.
He is.
And he shrugged off 3 Gloucester players casually, got a wonderful try out of it. I do think Gloucester bottled this, though, sadly. It was 20 points to 10 at half-time. And then Bath just went, it's fine. We've got it. Don't worry.
No, I mean, 100%. I mean, I was talking, when was it? It wasn't last week, the week before, when I was last on, and I said, you know, what is this Bath team going to be capable of when you have the likes of Finn Russell pulling the strings, when you have the likes of Ollie Lawrence on his inside, just running those hard balls. And we saw essentially that entire game plan come to fruition in this Gloucester game. And I mean, obviously, Finn Russell, a lot of people saying, you know, he's up there with the best fly-offs in the world. Obviously, Boeta, you know, you play fly-off quite a bit yourself.
Yes.
What does it take? You know, is it talent or is it hard work? You know, Finn Russell, he's called the Maverick for a reason. You know, what's your opinion on him as a fly-off yourself?
Yeah, I think, yes, you need talent, you need skill set and hard work. But I think the most important thing for fly-off is to stay calm under pressure. Because, I mean, the whole team looks at you because you're the general of the team. If you start falling under pressure, then the whole team will lose, like, how can I say it, like, they will lose, not interest, like, so I will stop believing in you as a fly-off. But as soon as you can control, like, being calm under pressure, it just gives a bit of calmness towards the other players as well, and they feed off you. So So
100%. And I mean, we talk about the best players in the world, almost seeing the game, almost having a vision of the game in slow motion, right?
yeah,
And Finn Russell in that game against Gloucester, it did look like he was almost seeing the game in slow motion. He
yes, yeah,
was, he's unbelievable skill. He's thriving. He's settled in so quickly at Bath. And honestly, with the Premiership having its struggles over the past couple of seasons, getting a bit of excitement back into it with a player like this, I think is only going to benefit the whole league, not just Bath. But I
yes, yeah.
mean, we'll move on to the Saturday because we had some other interesting games. Bristol played Sale or welcome Sale.
Nah, I'm
And
not backing.
Sale getting a bit of not really revenge, but making up for last week against your boys.
I'm not backing Bears again. Every time I do it, they just let me down. It's just filled with disappointment. It really is.
Yeah, no, I didn't even watch the highlights of this game. It was one of the games that I thought it's
It
either
was all
gonna be.
right.
Hmm?
It was all right. It wasn't. It was nothing special. But I will give a special shout out to Robert Dupree. Beautiful interception. Ran back the years, rolled back the years. Love it.
You know what it is? It's just the South Africans dominating world rugby. That's what it is. Talking about um South Africans, the next game had two World Cup winners come back into it. Leicester versus Harlequins, an absolutely brilliant game. I watched the highlights of this game and then went back and watched the game itself. Um, yeah, wow, what a match. Harlequins steal the win, 29-25. Brilliant match. Andre
Yeah.
Pollard, the Iceman, he was back. Playing for Leicester, Jasper Wiese, the absolute bowling ball that he is so hard to put him down.
And
Um,
yeah, it was a different South African that stole the show.
it was.
Highland Green. He has what I am convinced. After the last 2 weeks, that man has wings.
Yeah.
Who else flies like that? It's ridiculous.
And I mean,
Yeah.
for a Premiership game to have three World Cup winners either side, obviously, Big Andre was on the bench for Quins, and we had Pollard and Visa playing. Yeah, same as how I said for Finn Russell playing at Bath, bringing that excitement back to the Premiership, bringing those big names back to the Premiership. Hopefully, we'll see a bit of a revival. I can almost feel a bit of a revival this season already, and we're only what four rounds into it.
5. But yeah, I could feel it. I could feel something happening.
I
It does
feel this
feel
has
a
been a
bit,
good season.
bit more competitive now that it's only the 10 teams. It does feel a bit more.
I suppose, but I am gonna miss London Irish causing an upset everywhere.
So I am, but
We still got Newcastle. I mean, they didn't cause an
well,
upset this week. Your favorite team, Saracens,
they're not my
um,
favorite.
got a pretty good win, 50 points to 12.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
boy Theo Dan back in his club colours.
Special.
My God, we saw
One
what
time.
he did against Argentina in the bronze medal final.
Mhm.
He's a special player, isn't he?
He is. He's
He's we talk about players for the future, and you look at England as a whole right now. They've got quite a few players retiring or close to retirement. That must give you hope for the future when you got a young player like that.
absolutely, 100%. I mean, you just have depth as well. I mean, how old are you, Boeta?
Uh,
25,
I'm
26?
24 years old.
Oh, didn't realize I was older than him.
Right in the middle of us.
I'm still a youngster.
Oh, I
But
feel
Still
old
a young.
now. I feel old now.
you are old, Murray. But it's
I'm
okay.
not.
It's all right.
Thanks.
But no, I mean Saracens back into winning ways. Big win over the Falcons. Um, yeah, there's not much more to say.
Are Falcons going to get a win this year? That sounds horrible, but
No, I think they'll definitely pick up steam. I mean, you could say that about any team at the start of any season after a bad season, but they're not a bad team. And there's plenty of other teams who maybe aren't performing to their best in this league as well. talking about a little bit of a fall off, because your young boys have been playing so well. Northampton Saints proving a bit far for them to reach. 34-19 was the score. Saints versus Chiefs. Away from home, bit more pressure maybe.
I just don't think we played. I don't know what the game plan was watching this game. It's the first time this season I haven't really had an idea what the idea was. Saints were in control. Saints knew what they wanted to do. They had some of their big boys back. Cornell Laws returned. It was fantastic. Just great on the attack. Absolute nuisance in defence. They love it. But Niall Armstrong's red card might be the dumbest red card I've ever seen.
Is that the one where he stuck his foot out?
Yeah. Like, I understand if your foot's already out before the ball's been caught. He caught the ball vertically and then lifted his leg.
See, I've always had my opinion on this, and Boeta, you might be able to chime in here because you play fullback quite a lot for club.
Yes.
When you are receiving a high ball, when you have to make that jump for a high ball, especially when competing, a lot of the argument is that leg has to come out for a bit of balance.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't jump with 2 legs or 2 feet at the same time. So the one is just to protect yourself, and the other one is generate power from.
Yeah, this has been my argument because we've seen this been be carded. I think a couple times in Super Rugby over the last couple of seasons. I think Geordie Barrett was Geordie Barrett was on the recipient end of one or caused one. I can't remember correctly, but the way I see it is a player going up in the air needs to make sure he's protecting himself for coming back down.
100%.
So if you're jumping into the air, you're trying to catch a ball, your eyes are on the ball, that foot comes out for balance. It's just physics, okay? If you then have, and players who are approaching a player in the air or a player receiving the ball, they have a duty of care to wait until that player has landed again. Now, the way I seen it is the foot was in the air and the player ran into his foot.
Well, that's not how I've seen it. And I'm a Chiefs fan.
That's how I've...
The way I seen it was...
It's a difficult...
No one near.
If you overrun it and you're off balance, your foot is going to go up in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to... Because your body does what it needs to protect yourself. But I mean, the law is...
It's a tricky one. And obviously, we look at yellow cards, red cards, sort of down to the degree of danger most of the time. But the way I see that is there's no intent. There's very rarely any intent when it comes to a red card. It's usually just a mistake. But okay, studs to the face, high degree of danger, happy days. That's fine. But it's avoidable from the player who's run into his foot. It is avoidable. Don't run into his foot. If you see someone in the air, you are supposed to take that course of action to let him come back down to the ground, and then you can make the tackle.
Yes, that's correct.
That's the way I see it.
I'm starting to think I'm the only one that's seen that one differently.
Well, I'm sure, but that's the thing about rugby, and that's sort of how rugby can be one of the more complicated sports, is that so many people can look at that and see a completely different picture. Some people agree with the red card, some would say a yellow. I'd probably say a yellow, and then some say play on, just a rugby incident.
I put it in as the same category as like say Boeta does a clearance kick. And then somebody goes for a charge down, misses completely, and takes Boeta out completely.
Yeah.
Do like 3 seconds in my head. So if it's within 3 seconds, you couldn't move out of the way. Because after 3 seconds, you had all the time in the world to avoid that. Yes. I thought this was the same situation. So the ball went up, Niall Armstrong leaped up, no legs were in the air. He just went up, straight up like that. Finn Smith was coming in for the tackle. The minute he got close, Niall then lifted the leg.
See,
I could be wrong. It just
see, I saw it more as the leg is up, and
Like that can go.
It can go either way. It's a tough one.
It is. It's like you said. Like it can go. Some people may agree with the red. Some people may agree with the yellow. Some may say no, it's only a penalty or play on. You're going up for the ball and you're off balance. Like you're going to do whatever you need to get back to balance. But unfortunately, boot to the face. Yeah.
But there are so many scenarios. I mean, there's so many people calling for the refereeing and just the rule book itself to be made more clear for the referees themselves, for the players to understand, and for the fans to understand. But the way I see it, in a situation like that, there are about 100 different things that could happen in that situation that could be penalized for different things. It's very hard to simplify that area of the game when there are so many different things that could go wrong. So at the end of the day, the referees made a decision, and I feel like, you know, that's the ref's decision. That's the right decision in that game. You know, we gotta let the officials do their job, and we're all gonna see it differently.
Have to make it a couple of split seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the game we love. It's determined by a couple of split seconds sometimes.
100%.
Do we want to go on? Yeah, I think we do. Some predictions for next week, because again, we've got some pretty tasty games coming up. On the Friday night, Premiership Rugby back. We've got Bath at home hosting the Bristol Bears.
I'm going to let our guests go first.
I would say go Bath, home advantage.
Yeah, the way they've been playing this so far this season, they're looking pretty well drilled. And like you said, Murray, every time you support Bristol, it doesn't work out for you. So I'm also going to go for Bath, and I'm going to say a pretty comfortable win at that.
Yeah, full house, going for Bath as well, because I actually really impressed with Bath this season, and Bears just keep disappointing me. So yeah, no.
They're hurting you, aren't they?
Finish.
We've got Sale versus Newcastle on same time actually. Unfortunately, it's in my eyes it's going to be Sale.
Yeah,
they're at home.
Yeah, Sale Sharks as well.
The fraud sharks, as I call them, because the way I see it, there's only one sharks in world rugby. But yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to see Newcastle do it, it's going to be Sale. So yeah, full house again.
It will be. The next one's a bit of a derby match, bit of a grudge match. We've got Leicester Tigers versus Northampton Saints.
Ooh.
This is going to be a tasty match because honestly, both these teams, based on this last round, obviously one getting the win, one narrowly losing, but they both, on paper, look like it's going to be a pretty even match.
I don't even know where to start.
Tigers. I back the Tigers.
Gotta back the Tigers. Gotta back the Iceman, Andre Pollard.
You're gonna have to.
I'm going to be different. I'm going to back the Saints. Sorry, boys.
Okay, that's fine, Murray. Yes, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
It could go either way.
It could go either way. We do have another bit of I suppose you could say it's a bit of a London derby. Harlequins versus Saracens.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I mean, Murray, I don't think we need to take your prediction.
Nah, it's fine. Don't worry.
Harlequins, you're going for. Yeah, Harlequins.
Yeah. I think the way Marcus is playing, and Tyrone Green, the way he's been finishing, it's been crazy. So yeah, and Andre at 12, you will probably start this weekend. So I would go with Harlequins as well.
Get those boys back in country. Get those boys back on home soil, please. Anyone? Have a word to the Sharks recruiting staff, and let's get Andre back as well.
Yeah, you do that. Maybe he'll come.
I'll give him a call. I'm quite good friends with him. Yeah. No, I'll go with Harlequins as well because I don't really want to see Saracens win, to be honest.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's also it is at the Stoop as well, to be fair.
We do have the Seoul game on the Sunday. Murray, it's your Exeter Chiefs versus Gloucester.
This is actually any point asking me. Are you going to ask me or no?
What do you think's going to happen?
I'm going to win. Back your team. And we're back at home as well.
Team, but do you think your young boys are going to bounce back with a good win?
I don't know. I thought we were going to scrape Sale and then we thumped them. So I don't know. It's open season right now.
I'm going to say Gloucester by 100 points. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, listen. Chiefs are at home. Yeah, I'll back the Chiefs. Why not? Why not? I'll do it. Keep you happy for the next week at least.
5 minutes, yeah.
Boeta, what are you saying for that game?
Yeah, see, home ground advantage plays a big factor, I believe. So yeah, let's make it Chiefs as well.
Hey, there we go. See, we're all unanimous. I love it.
We love to see. Now let's get to the juicy part because Premiership's all well and good, but we all know the best league in the world is the URC. We'll start on the Friday. Cardiff versus the Bulls. The Bulls usually don't tour so well. If we're looking at the past 2 seasons, but 18 points to 12, not the prettiest victory in the world. But I'll tell you one player that is probably my favourite signing for the Bulls. Played for the Pumas. Obviously, I'm a Nelspruit man myself. Pumas are almost they are my sort of hometown team. That boy, Devon Williams, what a signing for the Bulls. Because I've been watching them the last 2 Curry Cups. I've been watching the Pumas. And, him and Tinas De Beer as well. I don't know how he's not been picked up by any major team. But Devon Williams, what a player!
Yeah, he's been probably one of the standout players for the Pumas in the past 2 seasons. And yeah, I think he grabbed the opportunity with both hands at the Bulls at the moment. Yeah, he's electric on loose play. He can create something out of absolutely nothing. He's got a big left boot on him. So no, he's been playing pretty well.
No, 100%. And I mean, he's warmed up to the URC instantly. He looks in his element, and it's just nice to see because obviously when you watch the Curry Cup, you watch obviously the Cheetahs get their chance to go play in the Challenge Cup, but the Pumas get shown no love, and obviously there's the Griquas there as well. But the Pumas, previous winners of the Curry Cup last year was the Cheetahs. But you just look at some of their players, and I've been looking at some of their players for so long, and I'm thinking these are world-class players, and how good would it be to see them given the opportunity to go play against these European teams? And we're kind of starting to see that with Devon Williams with the Bulls. But no, it's a good win for the Bulls over Cardiff. Bit of an Irish derby. We had Munster versus Ulster. The champions downed.
No disrespect to Munster, but to Ulster, but I did not expect that to happen. But fair play, yeah.
No, Ulster just outplayed them basically.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it was a special night. Rob Herring, the most capped Ulsterman ever, and he just seems to get better with age.
Yeah.
Must be something in the water over there. But Jacob Stockdale on the scoreboard, that's always nice to see. He's always trying to push back into that Ireland team.
That's good.
Kemeny is a very solid back rower as well. Does a job again, can't quite push into that national side yet, but if you keep doing performances like that, there's no reason why you can't.
Fair enough. I can't remember any other games that happened on the Friday.
Don't give me it. We have to talk about it. I'll briefly. I'll
Neither
talk.
of us want to talk about it. It's just you that wants to talk about
I
it.
don't want to talk about it. I just want to give credit to Marcello that helped us out last week because you were busy.
That's true.
Passionate Italian, predicted it. He convinced me, and you know what? Yeah, Zebra got a win.
Yeah.
So, although our friend was on the score sheet, Boeta. There you go.
He was.
He was. But
Nah, listen,
yeah, famous win for Zebra. First time since April 2022 getting a win, and that's all I'm going to say because I'm not one to upset you, and I don't want to upset our friend Boeta.
I'm over it personally. I had my spell of like, oh my god, I can't believe this has happened. So
No,
I can't imagine what it must have felt like for you boys.
no, it wasn't a very good experience.
No. But I'm over it
Especially,
now, and you boys are back at home this weekend, and I've got a good feeling about being back at home. And listen, I mean, come on, you start the season with a 4-game tour in bloody Ireland, and then you got to play the Ospreys and then Zebre, who, let's be honest, have been overperforming at the start of this season. They've been running so many teams. They could have won all their games so far.
Yeah, they were leading against who was it? Munster.
They were
Or
leading
Ulster.
against Munster. Who was
Yeah,
it? They ran very close.
No, it was
the
Ulster.
Bulls.
They ran Ulster close in the
Ulster
first
close.
Ulster
Yeah.
close
Yeah,
in the first
but
round.
Zebra was leading at a stage as well, and then Ulster came back to win the game.
Crazy.
Zebra put brilliant performance against the Bulls as well.
They did. But
So
no, it's fine. We're back at
yeah,
home.
no,
Back
that
to
is
winning
true.
ways, boys. Back to winning ways.
But the theme did continue into the Saturday though.
It did continue into the Saturday. And I don't mind this one because I actually quite like Benetton.
Yes,
And
best team in the world according to you.
as a Sharks fan, it's always quite fun to see the Stormers lose. Yeah, Benetton, 20 points to 17. A bit of a bogey team for the Stormers. They always seem to give them a game.
Yeah,
Great. I love it.
Wow, what what a game! And Rhino Smith with that drop
oh,
goal at the end.
no, that was
We talk about being an Iceman. That was a pretty Iceman moment.
it was.
Oh, listen, I'll say it like in terms of just out of context and regardless of the loss to Zebre and regardless of the Stormers' loss to Benetton, this is really good for Italian rugby to see their two club
100%.
teams finally performing. And both of their club teams performing well. Benetton unbeaten. They haven't lost a game. How
They're
mad,
still sixth in the league. That is mental to think that.
Yeah,
and
wrote off last season is top of the log or unbeaten.
yeah, you got to give them credit. And listen, if we can see Benetton in the quarterfinals of this year's URC, if they can continue the form, I'll be happier for it. Yeah, I can't complain about that one. The next game, Ospreys versus Glasgow, 31-23. Ospreys pushed Glasgow hard, but it was all too late. 78th minute, Tipperick gets yellow carded, and then a try and conversion to steal the match.
Yeah, Johnny Matthews with 2. I made a video last night that if Scotland were to play like now, hypothetically, Johnny Matthews would start just on Formula 1.
Yeah.
I don't know what point he's got to prove. We all know what he can do off the back end of them all. But this season, he's just flying. Yeah, just keep going. All for it.
Love it.
But this URC has been, all the matches has been tight. There hasn't been like a runaway game so far.
I can't think that. Okay, there's one blowout that I can think of that's to come, but otherwise, 100 no, like that happened this week that we haven't talked about yet. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, we've had very tight matches. It just goes to show URC greatest competition in world rugby. Talking about close matches, and this is one that I watch because I live in Carmarthenshire in Wales. As a South African, that's hard because I'm surrounded by Welsh fans, which It's all right most days. Some days it's
Cool.
insufferable. But Scarlets are the closest team to me, and the Lions came into town, came to Llanelli. Everyone was thinking the Lions, they're not going to do too well on the road. They're not going to win. They pushed your boys pretty close last week, and this week, last week they were a point behind. This week they're a point ahead. Yeah, and I just want to mention one man, former teammate of yours, Boeta, Senele Nohamba,
Yeah,
played fly half, and what a player!
yeah, no, he's on a different level. I played with him since under 19, and yeah, it's nice having someone like that in your team.
I was obviously, I mean, we've got plenty of quality scrum halves at the Sharks, but I was personally a bit devastated when we saw Nohamba go over to the Lions. But my God, has that just been the platform for that boy to flourish? Because he has been the starting scrum half for the majority of last season and obviously this season, and now he's had a crack at fly half. And you know, with Lombard and Hendricks are there as well, competing in that fly off jersey. Now he puts in a performance like that. Oh, what a player! And his goal kicking is crisp. So, yeah, very happy performing.
No, he's always been a standout player wherever he goes or wherever he plays.
And he brings a bit of the proper scrum half energy, doesn't he? He brings a bit of the yappiness. No, but very, very tight game. Very, very good game to watch. Tit for tat. You thought the Scarlets had it in the bag. And then with just a kick through from Senene that didn't look like it was going to amount to anything, ended up getting charged down by Creel, flicked it to Henko, and try scored, kick over, won the game. You can't ask for a better finale than that. So yeah, it was good to see the Lions getting a win on the road. And Murray, the game that you have not yet even recovered from, Edinburgh versus Connacht. How do you feel about that one?
So good. It is genuinely one of my favourite fixtures of the season. Just because Connacht put up before the game, like the last five results, neither side's won two on the bounce. It's very tightly contested. As the score tells you, 25-22 to my boys. And it was so good. 7-3 at half time, very tight. Everything we chucked at Connacht chucked straight back at us. I mean, shout out to Ben Vellicott coming on to start the second half and getting man of the match. Not many players can get a player of the match performance of just one half of rugby, but credit. Duhan van der Merwe, welcome back. Didn't score, but set up Ben nicely, was just doing what he does, taking 3 or 4 to stop him, being a nuisance, and then the man that I will talk about in high praise for like the remainder of the season because he's not let me down so far. And it's not Boeta, unfortunately. It is R10, Ben Healy.
What a signing.
Cometh the man. Last minute drop goal. Wasn't that far out, but who cares? I don't give a shit. Not me anyway. Beautiful drop goal. 6,000 plus at the Hive. Thunderous reaction. Great win.
Wasn't quite a hat trick of drop goals. You know, that's kind of Boeta's speciality there, but you know, one drop goal, that's good. Yeah.
Well, I'd love Boeta to sign for Edinburgh.
No, you're not having him. Don't do that.
Why?
Don't even consider it, Boeta.
We could have that coffee every week.
No.
Yes.
No, you stay in Durban. You stay in Durban. It's good.
No, but great game, and we're back in the top 8, which is what we deserved.
Well, I did say a bit of a blowout to come, and maybe on the score sheet it's not the biggest blowout we've ever seen, but Leinster 33-10 over the Dragons. Leinster. What?
Dan Sheehan's back.
Yeah, Dan Sheehan's back. Great. Yeah. Listen, I think Leinster are a brilliant team, but I'm so bored of seeing them win. Just stop it.
But we went over it. They don't win anything.
They don't win anything. No.
On a big curve for the season. Then when it gets knockouts, just don't.
We're never going to have any Leinster players come on as a guest.
None of them have responded to my DMs. So
yeah, because they've seen a podcast of me just slandering them.
That actually happened when we first started RCP. We were trying to get, I think it was Ewan players.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was when Saracens were in the championship.
Oh yeah.
And like the score on aggregate was ridiculous.
Yeah, but that was always unfair, wasn't it?
I know, but we went, well done, Saracens. You beat like a farmers league. And obviously the people at Ealing found out, and oh well, it doesn't matter. We've had World Cup winners on since, so
true. Honestly, there's not much I can be asked to talk about that game because it was just Leinster being Leinster.
Yeah, no, when they get a sniff of a half opportunity, they take it.
They're just clinical, and it's like you can be playing well for 90% of the game, and it can be a good close game. You can be dominant in the contact, you can be dominant in the set piece, and Christ, you knock one ball on, and they're gone.
Yeah, like they'll probably say get 4 opportunities, nail 3 out of the 4 straight away. And other teams get 10 opportunities and nail 3.
Yeah, exactly.
4. So
you got to hand it to them. They are.
Yeah.
It's just that academy system is ridiculous.
You're
looking at their team, and you're looking at Christ, not even their B team. We're talking like their C team. We're seeing players who are fresh faced, and they're still clinical. They look like they've been playing into professional rugby for years and years. They look like seasoned veterans. But no, you've got to give them credit. But I'm not going to give them any. So there we are. Anyways, predictions. On the Friday, Murray, you've got the Bulls in town.
We have, and guess what? We beat last week's league toppers. We'll do it again this week. Back your team.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're not back.
Obviously, I do have my rule of. I back the SA franchises when they're not playing each other.
No.
So I'm gonna back the Bulls. I'm gonna back Devin Williams. That's who I'm backing because I'm really enjoying seeing him play well at the moment. Devin Williams to beat Edinburgh.
Actually, question. Just because I know that a lot of the big boys for their clubs are coming back, is like Billy LaRue and all that going to make his debut for the Bulls?
I imagine so. I can't see them not. I can't see them not playing Billy. You got to, don't you? It's Billy bloody LaRue.
Yeah, I don't know if I think the Springboks got off. I'm not too sure if they're available. So I don't know if he'll probably play the first home game at Loftus. I don't think they will fly him up for 1 game or 2 games and then come back.
No, probably not.
I'm convinced though we will get a debut for Edinburgh.
Go on.
And then Ali Price.
See, like, I don't get me wrong, Ali Price, brilliant player. I think he's fantastic. But you've got Shield and Velicott there, 2 absolutely outstanding young scrum halves. Why do you just let Ali Price, just let another team have him? You're just hoarding scrum halves at the moment, and it's unnecessary.
Like I said, the same for Glasgow for ages. The whole setup was,
I suppose,
the scrum halves for the national team were all in Glasgow. At least now you've got George Horn at Glasgow, Ben, Charlie, and Ali fighting it out in Edinburgh, and then you'll have like Ben White over in Tone.
I suppose.
The way I see it is like for each position, it should be 1 from Glasgow, 1 from Edinburgh, 1 from overseas. In that order.
Interesting way of looking at it, but I like
And
it.
then obviously, if there's nobody overseas in that position, just bounce back to the team.
But just chuck another Edinburgh in there, is it, Murray?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Though? So second row. There's no second rows that really play overseas. They're all Scottish based. So it'd
Yeah.
be Richie Gray, Grant Gilchrist, Scott Cummins, and then you just kind of bounce between the two.
Okay.
That's my theory.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, back your team. Edinburgh's going to beat the Bulls, grab them by the horns.
I have to back the South African team. I have to back the Bulls.
This is no, I'm outnumbered. I don't like this game.
I have to back the Bulls.
I told you, Murray. I told you we might have our rivalries in country, but when we're playing you European boys,
Yeah, no,
we back our boys.
Fair.
We've got Ulster Ulster hosting the Lions, the Joburg boys back. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for that. That's going to be a different beast to the Scarlets.
Yeah, that's going to be it. It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game.
I'm guessing they're back in the Lions, though.
I can see another 1-pointer again.
Mm-hmm.
I can see another 1-pointer, and I've been waiting for Henko van Veek to really have just an absolutely huge game where we've seen have him before, where he's just breaking tackles for fun and he's running 75 meters to score a try, and it's just disgusting and he's unplayable. So hopefully that'll happen against Ulster, because Ulster are also up there with the teams. I'm a bit like, just go away.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, because I mean, Ulster beat Munster last weekend, so they're in high. The Lions beat Scarlets, so the Lions are in high. So it's going to be an absolute monster of a game on Saturday.
And for the Lions to get 2 on the bounce on tour would be massive boost for them. But yeah, I'll say the Lions. I'll say the Lions by a point again. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah. I want to say Ulster, but I'm going to back the Lions. The Lions are known for a team that can create an upset wherever they play.
To be fair, I suppose Ulster do have Kitsy. Dwayne's retired now, so
yes,
they have Kitsy. I suppose they have our spicy plum, but that's fine.
Yeah, that is true.
They can have him.
I'll still take Ulster for the win, though. I just think at home, Ulster are different. If it was a reverse fixture, Lions would comfortably win, because it's very hard to win in South Africa.
It is, and in
especially in Joburg.
And in Joburg.
Oh my word!
But at Kingspan, in Belfast, it's a tricky one, so I'm going to have to go Ulster.
We do have we got Zebre back at home again, hosting Cardiff.
Mm-hmm.
Are Zebre gonna just shock us all and do 2 on the bounce? And are we gonna start having to have the conversation of, Zebre are quite a good team now?
I think they will. I think this season they're gonna.
Because so far this season, you look at Zebre and you're thinking, yeah, that's a pretty good team.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good team.
I can tell you, not easy playing in Italy, especially at Zebre. Not a big stadium, not a lot of supporters, but it feels like there's 20,000+ people.
They just
the way they sing and celebrate, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they just seem this season, especially start of the season, and Zebre specifically, they seem to be playing with so much more oomph, so much more passion. Where we saw them play like that at the start of last season. Obviously, start of last season they ran Leinster close, and then you boys went to play them. They gave you boys a hell of a game, and then just slowly throughout the season they did start to trickle off and start to lose momentum, and that's when the hammerings came. I'm wondering in my head if that's going to be the same story this season, or after obviously a win, and I would have preferred it to be a win against anybody else, but after a win, do they now look at their season now and think, you know what, let's keep this momentum, let's keep it going. So, you know what, Zebre to beat Cardiff.
Yeah, I can see it, and I don't think it's going to be like 1 or 2 points in it, I think Zebra might actually win.
Because they've got some weapons. They have got some weapons on that team.
I think Zebra make it 200 trots.
There you go.
I can't believe this. For the first time on this podcast, we've said Zebre to win, and we've said it with confidence.
Yeah, I think last season it would have been the same. But just by what Zebra has been showing and delivering, I think it might be a season with a couple of upsets.
I can see Zebra being that little dark horse now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hope Zebre beat the Bulls and the Stormers, because I've been getting a lot of stick from Bulls and Stormers fans saying, "Oh, you lost to Zebre." Well, come on, Zebre, beat them all. Talking back at home now, back in the Shark Tank, back in Hollywood Bet Stadium, Sharks versus Connacht. Boeta, how are you feeling about that game? Are you happy to be back on home soil?
Yeah, no. First 4 weeks definitely hasn't gone to plan. But it's a new group. And yeah, we have a couple of exciting players as well. So I think first home game is gonna do us good. Just to play in front of the home crowd, home field, just to be at home. It always just feels better when you're at home.
How's the environment at the moment within the team? Because obviously new coaching setup, plenty of fresh faces in the team. Obviously not the best start to the season, but I'm talking just in general. You know, what's the atmosphere in the team like with everything? Fresh coaches, fresh players.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the hardest pre-seasons I've went through. But the atmosphere and the vibe in the team is probably one of the better ones I've been involved in. There's a buy-in from everyone. You can see the guys are really like putting in the hard yards. They're grafting. And the results just doesn't want to go our way at the moment. But the guys haven't lost any faith. The guys haven't lost trust in each other. So the vibe is still exactly the same. I think the win will definitely do us good as a team or as a union, actually. But yeah, very, very excited for the first home game.
Well, luckily, the results are going to start going our way, because we are going to beat Connacht. You boys are gonna give them, a comfortable win. I'm going to say for you boys, I believe, back at home, and like you said, the boys haven't lost belief. So I'm saying Sharks with a 10+ victory.
I'm backing Sharks.
I wouldn't have thought it.
I was going to say, if he says Connacht, there's going to be some shady stuff going on.
I don't think I will go back to the stadium if I had to do that.
I'm torn. I'm really torn.
Don't do it, Murray.
No, shut up. I'm thinking. I'm trying to think rationally. It's not easy to win in South Africa. New boys are hurting.
In the Shark Tank, Murray.
Doesn't matter if Murray goes against us, and when we win, we can actually
I will never hear the end of it. I'll go the Sharks.
Yeah. Too right.
Yeah.
Purely for Boeta, not for UCAM.
Remember when we had Byron on and I predicted the Stormers to win?
Yeah, you sat with a Stormers jersey on.
Connacht were playing Stormers in the semi-final of last season, and Byron Ralston on, and I sat there in a Stormers jersey and predicted the Stormers to win.
Oh my word!
No, it's
fine. I'm not that bad. I'm not wearing a Connacht jersey.
I've chatted since. We're fine.
Do you have a Connacht jersey?
Mm-hmm. I have a Sharks jersey. I have all the jerseys.
Classic Sharks jersey, same as I have. The nice Mr. Price, don't you?
Yeah.
Old classic Mr. Price. I love it. Anyways, so Sharks are going to win. That everyone agrees that Sharks are going to win, and then we're going to win the URC, and then we're
no.
Anyways, Dragons versus Ospreys. Honestly, This is
cares?
going to be a one-way game, in my opinion.
Is it?
Yes. Ospreys, regardless of their loss to Glasgow, they've been looking pretty good this season, in my opinion. I'm going to say Ospreys by, again, an easy 10-point margin.
Just because the Dragons are absolute guff.
You know, Murray. I don't like the Dragons New Jersey as well. The Dragons New Jersey, they've got like the big yellow.
I don't mind it. I don't like the logo.
I hate their logo. I miss the old dragon tail. I've got the same jersey, like the same actual jersey, with the inaugural URC season one when they had the logo with just the dragon's tail, and that now
it has nothing to do with the dragon anymore.
I don't know what it is actually. It's a little shield with some flowers on it. It's quite cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go Ospreys.
Yeah. It's
Ospreys.
gotta be. And Superman Jack
again,
as well.
Dragons home ground advantage. It's not easy playing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ospreys will pull it through.
We've got a bit of a URC final rematch because we've got the Stormers versus Munster.
Ooh.
There's going to be a bit of bad blood, I feel like, in this game. There must be. There's got to be for those boys in the Stormers who played in the final last year. Oh,
yeah, it's gonna bring back a couple of bad memories.
And I think that's going to fuel a fire in the boys. So I'm going to say Stormers to win. Back the boys, going to back the Stormers to win, but honestly, it's going to be a close, tight game. So I'm not
Mario,
by much.
What are you thinking?
I think Munster's going to win. It's at Thomond Park. It's not at Mulgrave. They're getting a big crowd in. It's one of the hardest places to win at Thomond. Maybe not Mulgrave because it's smaller, less people care. But when they go to Thomond, they want a big show. I think they're annoyed now that Ulster beat them, and I think that's just going to light a fire in their belly. And yeah, I think the champs will get a fairly safe win.
Yeah, okay. I bet Stormers. I mean, if the Stormers get in their style of playing, it's going to be.
It's going to be a great game, regardless.
You know who I think the Stormers need to start in absence of obviously. Manny still being off, because obviously all the Springboks still have a huge hangover. I honestly, Sasha Umgumazolu has to be starting more for the Stormers because my God, I mean you saw his try against the Lions in the first round. Yes, see me.
Yeah, how he controlled that ball was I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, like prime Messi who?
No,
I think he's an absolutely brilliant player.
I
think he's the one to start in absence of Manny to start unlocking defenses for the Stormers and getting them playing that quick play that they like to do.
But Sasha's been good at 12 as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's a versatile player, and I wouldn't be surprised. I reckon you could probably chuck him at 15 as well, and he would. I think he would probably have a good game. But Glasgow versus Benetton. Benetton have the chance to stay undefeated here, but playing away against them Glaswegians is a pretty tough ask for any.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to back Benetton because of Reno. But yeah, my gut says Glasgow at home.
My guts, no, my head says Glasgow. My heart says Benetton stay undefeated.
Yeah,
I can't even use podcast logic because it's 2 each.
I mean, podcast logic. Sorry, let me go. Benetton are the greatest team ever to exist. So Benetton are going.
No. I try and do podcast logic. If I can't decide, I'll be like, oh well, we've interviewed this player. But we've had two from Benetton, we've had two from Glasgow. Just because they're at home, I'll say Glasgow.
Yeah.
We've had Seb Negri from Benetton, and he was born in Zimbabwe, which is pretty much.
I don't care. I'm not African. Doesn't work on me.
No, Benetton are gonna stay undefeated. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the next one. It could be ugly, or no. You say what's the point?
It doesn't.
I could honestly see the Scarlets doing something. I could.
I cannot.
Where they're playing?
I'd like to be.
They are playing the RDS, but well, that is a disclaimer. They're playing in the RDS.
Okay, I knew there was a catch somewhere. No, Leinster. RDS is. Yeah, RDS is probably one of the hardest stadiums to play at. Especially if that crowd starts getting alive.
I'd say hardest places to play, probably Dublin in the RDS. And then you'd probably have to say somewhere like Cape Town. Actually, no, I'd probably say Pretoria is probably a harder place to play for traveling teams.
Yes, yeah,
and with that altitude, yeah. But yeah, listen, I want to see the Scarlets cause an upset, but they're not going to. So it's going to be Leinster by 20. Unfortunately,
if Leinster gets in the groove early in the game, it's going to be a long day for Scarlets.
It's a long day for any team when Leinster get in their groove, and it's very frustrating to watch because you know they're good as a fan. You know they're good, but when you watch them, especially when you watch them play against a team that you support, and you're like, they're just. I hate seeing them do it. I hate it.
100%. I agree.
But anyways, that is the URC.
Yes.
That's the games. I mean, we listen. Disclaimer to anybody watching: we did say we were going to cover top 14 this season, but we don't want to. So, yeah. What we do want to talk about though is a Mr. Henry Arundel on debut for Racing.
Patrick, absolute freak of nature, as you did.
Yeah, and you see him do that. In the top 14, and you start to think, why the bloody hell didn't England utilize him a bit more in the World Cup? And when they did, they didn't.
I found out. I've been told why. I don't know how true it is. There was just a lot of people in my comment section. Apparently, Mr. Arundel had a fallout with Owen Farrell, and Owen used his bugger you, and got shunned off.
Yeah, but I think I can see it being very easy to fall out with Owen Farrell.
I could see it being very easy to fall out with a lot of that team just because of how focused they are for the task in hand. Do
you know what I've noticed is Owen Farrell and his dad Andy both have the same just base expression to their face, and that base expression is it looks like they want to kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when I see Andy in a press conference and he's just sitting there listening, and it just looks like he wants to throttle one of the reporters. But he's, obviously he's a very lovely guy. And I mean, Owen Farrell, I mean, I'm sure, he's a lovely guy off the pitch as well. But I suppose he takes his anger out when he tackles with his shoulder. So
it's like that killer mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, well, listen, we said on the podcast of the World Cup that we came to the conclusion that Owen Farrell is the greatest English fly-half to ever exist.
That did not go down well on TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, listen, I seen the comments on TikTok, and listen, I know Johnny Wilkinson, brilliant player, won a World Cup.
You can't throw Johnny Wilkinson away.
You can't throw Johnny Wilkinson away, but I just had to say that, and we went through all of the statistics, all of the trophies, and obviously there is that World Cup that kind of trumps everything else.
Yeah,
but I did say that Owen Farrell was the greatest fly half that England ever had, and people weren't too fond of my opinion. Just fine.
Some were bringing it down to not just like overall game management. It was like, yeah, but Johnny can tackle, and
yeah, but Johnny Wilkinson won a World Cup. Okay, it's a big trump card. I'll give him that. It's a very big trump card.
But I mean, yeah, Johnny says that. I mean, you can't back up anything else because I mean,
that's the thing. It's hard to argue with that point. So
it's literally Farrell has more points, more caps, more club trophies. I don't know if he's got more individual awards. I think Wilkinson might have him trumped to that as well.
Probably.
It's literally just, yeah, but he won a World Cup, and then
does Johnny have? Does Johnny did Johnny win a top 14 title?
Yeah, with Toulouse.
Toulon, yeah.
Yeah, he did. With
he was part of that.
I thought
the Galactico team.
Yeah, that's it.
When Abana and Johan Smith buckies.
That's it.
And
that's a lot team was like a when you jump onto FIFA or what is it, FC24 now, and you just make your fancy team.
Yeah, and then you had Ma Nanu at 12. I mean,
yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Is Ma Nanu still playing in the MLR?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he still playing for Legion?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that man just doesn't stop, does he?
I just realised we've not done random game of the week this season, but I don't think all the games have started yet. So
yeah, that's true. Imagine being a young American boy who's decided he wants to play rugby, and he goes into he makes it all the way to play in the MLR. Happy days, and then his debut game he's got fucking Ma Nonu running at him.
He'd retire quickly.
I know he'd take up baseball.
Yes, I don't think that's a pretty image to see in front of you. First scrum.
Honestly, Ma Nonu could be in his 70s, and I still wouldn't want to. Have you seen Henry Tuolangi these days? Jesus Christ.
He's massive.
It's a weird tangent to end the show, but I'm all good for it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going off on tangents here, but...
Yeah. But then at Sale, you had Rohan, Jans van Rensburg, and Manu Tuolagi. I mean, that's, both centers over 110 kgs. Running at you.
I could play center, man. See, I told you I could play center. I'm over 110. I'm over 110.
I am currently 103 kg.
Guess my weight.
I'm losing the weight. I am. I'm gearing up to be a top quality flyer. See.
What?
Oh, you're 20 kgs heavier than me. I'm 83.
Yeah, but I will say a lot of my 103 kg is in the beer. So.
Oh, okay.
Not only am I older than Boeta, that I didn't realise, I'm also 35 kilos heavier. Big lad.
I was going to say. How heavy are you, Murray? 110?
118.
118 kilos. So yeah,
your prop weight, but I could run it like a centre.
I reckon we put you back row number 8 and like a big Bill Matter kind of
getting the ball from people or a 22 dropout, give it to him.
Yeah. And then I think you put me open side, and I can be sort of like that Quagga Smith figure, just you look at him, you don't think of much, but then he pounces on you. I can't believe I'm comparing myself to Quagga Smith.
I can't believe you compare me to Bill Matter, but I'll take it. I mean, he's trumped me in everything. He's 6'7"?
Yeah, he's also Fijian, so he's trumped you in that.
You can't compete.
That's nothing. Fijian's a mentality. It's all right. Don't worry. But we'll end it on that.
Okay.
Thank you so much to Boeta for coming on.
A lot of Fijians debating that in the TikTok comments.
I'm not posting that on TikTok. Don't worry.
I am.
Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Boeta Chamberlain for coming on. All the best for the upcoming fixtures. And yeah, we'll definitely get you back on because it's been a great laugh.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me again.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Anytime. And in the meantime, for those listening to this, go and check out the interview with Boeta. It's a bit more professional then.
Yeah, I think when you throw me into the mix of things,
bugger it, but it's fine. But yeah, Rugby Connection podcast. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. It's not going well on TikTok, but we're getting there.
Fine.
And we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.